What was anticipated to be one of the most exciting Osu matches of the year quickly turned south, when a huge accusation against one of the match contestants dropped on Twitter. In the early hours before the highly anticipated match would commence, a top player would post a tweet outlining an investigation that they and two other top players took part in. It questioned the legitimacy of one of the most celebrated players in recent time, and made 3 core points to substantiate their claims. If these claims were true, it would have big implications for the state of the game. Course Closed is an annually hosted tournament meant to showcase some of the best tournament players of the year, and this year had a stacked roster. The tournament ran smoothly for the most part, however it wasn't without its controversies, but it was projected to have an exciting grand finals match to finish things off.
The tournament eventually ran down to its top 2 contenders.
In the losers bracket, Malashevsky, arguably the most accomplished tournament player in the game, he currently boasts 48 tournament badges on his profile, on track to surpass Bubbleman, who holds the most tournament badges at 49. Malashevsky would have to face one more contestant and beat him twice if he wanted to win Course 2024, and that contestant was Worst Hard Rock Player. The match was scheduled for May 25th, 13 UTC. Streamers prepared for the match by putting on their most splendid attire, and the broad community was excited to watch two tournament titans go at it. It was only a matter of waiting.
22 UTC.
Badu drops a bombshell on Twitter. Badu's tweet led to a document revealing that he had been in communications with Norwegian player Grandmaster for the last 4 years, and that they had been operating an investigation into Worst Hard Rock Player regarding quote-unquote suspicious activity, leading them down a rabbit hole and digging up potentially damning evidence of deception. Here are the findings that they used to make their case. The irregularities. The investigation identifies an Osu account on a private server that ties back to Forum, and from analysis draws the conclusion that the runs set on the private server are not consistent with the runs he regularly sets on Bancho. The second point draws suspicion on Forum's rapid improvement at the game. On the third page in the document is a screenshot of Forum's run on Busta Rhymes' Wii Shop map with a B rank and 86% accuracy. The first image on the next page shows an updated score with 8% accuracy improvement and only 3 misses. Allegedly a 22 miss difference from the scores 2 months apart, although we can't tell from the first screenshot provided as it does not contain the miscount number. For a group of top players and people who think they know a lot about cheating, using one of the weakest excuses, "this guy's improving too quickly, he must be cheating," is absolutely pathetic. We have seen this argument time and time again. If we look at other top players like Emric, Whitecat, Baxay, all of these guys have faced the same garbage accusation. The truth is, it's hard to measure skill and correlate it to rank gain and see if they're improving a lot more than they should be, because at the end of the day, what defines plausible improvement? Here is where it gets interesting though. This is the investigators' best proof, and in their words, one of the main reasons that this document came to light in the first place, purely because of this piece of evidence. They first established the fact that Forum has his tablet in relative positioning, meaning his tablet acts in a way that a mouse would. It's not a one-to-one scale like absolute positioning. The second thing the investigators observe is the fact that he doesn't have a second monitor to the left, which is observable by the live plays that were already on his YouTube channel. So everything seems fine, but in the investigators' eyes, the most damning piece of evidence is the fact that his cursor was halfway through the screen and on the left hand side when starting to play the map. In their words, it would be normal if he had a second monitor to the left, as that's something that would happen. The WHP Extermination Squad attempted to reproduce this cursor bug, but to no avail. Well, not legitimately at least. In order to see if Worst Hard Rock Player was cheating, they recruited the help of Xylus to obtain cheats and replicate the quote-unquote suspicious cursor movement that Worst Hard Rock Player was experiencing. The investigators came to the conclusion that it was indeed replicable with cheats. Here is footage of Xylus testing it out. However, all of this evidence loses its credibility when you factor in that other people have replicated the same exact bug without cheats. The incompetence for these investigators failing to consider that it was not cheats is unprofessional. In the document, they state they were unable to replicate the suspected behavior beforehand, but it really brings into question who was investigating that, because they seem to portray it in a way that they tried for 30 minutes and stopped thinking about it as a legitimate factor for the cursor movement. But think about the implications if Worst Hard Rock Player was actually cheating blatantly in front of everyone in tournaments. This hypothetical is improbable, as the amount of live plays he has and the amount of tournaments he has participated in serves as enough proof for his legitimacy. Honestly, it's quite dumb, and the conclusion is just as brain dead. Conclusion: we tried and could only replicate Forum's behavior with a cheat software. This leads us to believe that Forum is at very least using a replay submitter of some kind. That was the whole document in its condensed form. But now let's talk about the discourse on Twitter. When Badu had tweeted about the initial document, it was
22 UTC.
So assuming Worst Hard Rock Player is in Korea, he had awoken to all of this mess, which is why he would reply jokingly with a "I had a good sleep." Within a couple hours, Badu had taken it down, but it was too late. The document was spreading everywhere and they were getting a bunch of flack for it, and rightfully so. After some of the initial drama and the community going wild, Grandmaster attempted to do some sort of PR stunt, saying, "Now nothing is entirely conclusive included, but I guess no more secrets. We are going public with all of this. We have a lot of material we didn't include, and we rushed to get this out thinking it was conclusive. Again, a major communication error. He insinuated that he would not give up on this case, and that he would come back to the drawing board, which is very insensitive. Also, it beats me as to why these guys would rush something like this. Trying to expose one of the best players in the world so quickly without double checking or without hesitation says a lot about these guys. Worst Hard Rock player's initial response to all of the cheating accusations was, thoughts on the cheating accusations? They think I'm that smart, huh? I have no idea how to use cheats or where to get them, Lamau. After a little bit, he let his gameplay do the talking by making a Buster Rhymes live play with Easy, where there is a digital timer in order to show that there are no frame rate changes. It wasn't a whole booting up PC live play, but it seems the general consensus is that people don't care about it because they know he isn't cheating. Around this time, an r/osu report thread would be created on Xylus. This report covers how he blatantly cheated offline with Maple, and with the tradition of staff banning players who cheat offline because it can be detected, it's only fair to assume he would be banned or restricted, right? Well, no, because he's a top player and these guys have more privilege in the community in a sense that they rule this place. I mean, Xylus seems fairly confident he won't get banned. Some people have the take of just because he was cheating offline doesn't mean he is cheating online, but that credibility goes down when you look at his cheating past. Now don't get me wrong, people change, but buying or having Maple on your computer to prove someone is cheating is just stupid, and I don't know what the thought process was behind it. It will be interesting to see if staff take action though. If they don't, well, you got your answer. Top players are immune to things like this and can abuse the rules in their favor, showing how corrupt the staff are. Ready to enforce the rules for regular players, but top players get a pass. Quite odd to me. 9 whole hours after this incident, Worst Hard Rock player decides to forfeit his match against Malashevsky for course ace, and he also states that he was going to take a step back and not interact with the community. Then we got the smartest German top player trying to voice his opinion, calling Forum a little child. Then a follow-up apology from Grandmaster, which reads as followed. At Forum, I'd like to publicly apologize to you in the face of your forfeit. This was timed horribly, and we believe even though we thought we had something solid, we did not. I wish you the best and hope that you can reinstate your match today, and for you to play your best. I felt incredibly bad and nauseous from the fact that not only was there a major oversight, but also how we did not take into account how you possibly could feel given we were wrong. You are an outstanding player who pushed boundaries unattainable by most, so please forgive us. I mean, you were on the case for 4 years, and not a single thought throughout those 4 years crossed your mind that if you were doing something wrong, you were fucked? Seems a bit odd, and the fact he points out the bad timing, I don't buy that for a second. I fully believe that these guys, especially Badu, had purposefully put that out in order to ruin Forum's mental and preparation for the grand finals. Ultimately, it did work. I mean, he's officially forfeited the match. Forum replies and does not accept the apology, and rightfully so. Reading your replies, you know that you can't apologize to me enough. Good for you, because I won't take this apology. You guys fucked up my mental. I am already hurt a lot about the fact there was a whole Discord server preying on my downfall. Grandmaster officially admits defeat as he says we won't be digging up anything further. It's basically Grandmaster doing all the PR speak. I've yet to see Badu, Xylus, or anyone else related apologize publicly. It just screams fake, and when you're caught doing something wrong, it's very easy to backpedal and just act like nothing had happened. But this is very recent drama as of writing this, so whether they come up with a statement later or not, I'll put it up right now. After this, Forum went live and was streaming under the title Hate Grind. There was an immediate outpouring of support for him in chat. The stream eventually became a top player aim control multi which peaked at around 1700 viewers. But let's bring it back. Why would these guys do something like this? I mean, Xylus and Worst Hard Rock player were literally going to be teammates for an upcoming tournament. Having your teammate accuse you for cheats is more soul crushing than my Osu is a waste of time video. And when there's a clip of him saying this shit,
roads lead to worst stage R player. That guy is like, yeah, if that guy got banned for cheating, like I low-key wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, damn. Just like, oh, I mean, I'm not low-key, it adds up. Like, this guy's just too good at everything.
is it really surprising that he wouldn't be a part of this? Look at Mr. Positive Nice Guy now. This is the same guy who said involving yourself in drama is toxic and stupid. I'm glad it backfired on him, but it does put into question, had he not been name dropped, he would have possibly gotten away with this. It really puts into perspective what people are doing behind others' backs. Anyways, that team disbanded, but don't worry, Worst Hard Rock player is back with this stacked team. My theory for a bunch of top players and other people trying to expose Worst Hard Rock player is jealousy. He is clearly miles ahead of these players in terms of skill, tournament play, and in rank. Sometimes people hate to see people succeeding. Let's look at Badu. He was known for being an insane aim control player, so seeing someone improve faster than him and being better than he'll ever be must make him feel jealous. If you think of aim control now, you most likely think of worst hard rock player. Just the fact he has surpassed him in virtually all of his skill sets would make him jealous. However, to contrast the jealousy, there were numerous top players coming to show support for worst hard rock player. There's Imric. Lol, this entire situation is just stupid. All players from the so-called forum quote-unquote extermination squad need to apologize, and forum is not obliged to forgive either. Akins? Okay, but they had a whole private extermination squad just to not replicate your settings, get a top player to download and use Maple, and say that no one has improved in terms of rank at the speed you have. There's a reason they backpedaled in 2 hours. Zone Louise? Just wanted to point out the beauty of the Osu community video loses its credibility for me after what just happened. Let bygones be bygones, but this shit keeps happening to every player that has significant skill spike. I also think Matthew still hasn't been apologized to enough. This whole thing is a complete mess, and honestly I feel really bad for worst hard rock player. He was harassed for no reason at all, and a hastily group of hooligans released some shit ass proof that didn't do anything but make the mental of one of the best players in the world bad. Now, I'm not done yet. Let's talk about Xylus. I can't believe I've gone this far through the video only mentioning Xylus when applicable, but let's talk about him in depth. Let me preface this with, people are not who they seem to be. The top players you see on the outside are not the same people they are in private. That's just a fact. I want to start this by talking about him taking down the beauty of the Osu community video. It really does go to show that darkness can't exist without the light. The message of the video still stands. The community can be great, or whatever you want to think, but don't you think it's a bit disingenuous and hypocritical that Xylus was acting like a positive figure in the community when behind the scenes he is a piece of shit? Wow, what a surprise. Top players are some of the most egotistical people. Who would have known? But why take it down? Are you taking it down because you were caught? I mean, it must feel weird being a triumphant king, taking the stance of the savior of the community. Thankfully you got taken down a notch. At least when I'm being a dick or expressing my opinion, I'm not taking some sort of moral high ground or any of that bullshit. Some other things that have happened since the Twitter blowback. Imric and Loki Chaos collaborated on the hit single Filipino Maple. Rank 80 player Hyok 2044 has sniped 4 Badu first place scores, with worst hard rock player also joining him in the sniping. The US government got his account restricted and client locked due to an inappropriate banner. Spazza releases a diss track on Xylus. Imric got silenced on Osu, presumably because of his song Filipino Maple and the beat map he made. Baseless accusations and a forfeited grand finals match. This was perhaps the biggest scandal in the game in quite some time. But I think this moment served as a sign that the community will no longer make the same mistakes that they did in the past, ostracizing players over baseless accusations and demotivating them from playing the game. People came together to denounce the actions of a few individuals, and despite the match being cancelled, a tweet on Corsace's Twitter and Discord messages suggests that the hosts are looking at a way of making light of the situation. Maybe a show match which both Forum and Malashevsky deserve. Drama, toxicity, and pedophilia. Every community, regardless of what, will have these trash people. It is not something that can be escaped or attributed to a specific community. Darkness can't exist without light. Darkness is defined by the absence of light.